And we are back from the break. And the party has just met with an Illithid who offered to share some information about some travelers through the sphere. And he said that he was interested in some information. And there was a question pending, what sort of information he wants. And he says, I understand that you are from elsewhere. I would be interested in knowing the goings-on of Illithids far afield. It might be relevant to my interests. Is that agreeable?
You're looking for allies in your calls, fellow friends?
So keep in mind that this is all going through Leva right now.
Yeah. I missed the last word of what he was wanting about that information for.
He's just looking for information about Illithids elsewhere, basically.
We can let him know. We can let him know what we've heard of the Illithid embassy on Brow. You might not know about them.
Well, we can mention about the embassies, what we know of Illithids, not painting them in any good or bad favor, it's just neutral as we can make it out. And obviously, you must be familiar with Foxsphere. We've vaguely heard of it.
That's agreeable to you?
Yeah, we'll say what we know, and hopefully it's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then I think a little bit of trade is in order. Please tell me, what spheres are you from or have you been to that have had Illithid activity?
Well, we're from Browspace.
Yeah, and that's got an embassy.
Browspace, yeah, there's an embassy for the Illithids on Brow. We're not sure if it's the same faction as you.
We're uneducated in your customs.
Would Braxon know the names of anyone in the Illithid embassy?
Probably not, no.
Okay.
I don't think you've had any dealings with them.
Yeah, you would have to have interactions with them.
Well, not necessarily, but he's not exactly moved in those circles either.
Should we mention that Lafdul shrugs and says, we met an Illithid with, I was going to say the one that I was aware of, but I'm not actually...
Well, I mean, you could start by, like, doing one sphere at a time, because you would understand that he's kind of looking for, a tit for tat. You give him some information, he'll give you some information,
right.
And then you give him some more information, he'll give you some more information. So,
okay.
You've mentioned Brawl Space, and you mentioned the embassy. Do you know of any activities of those Illithids? Is there anything that you want to mention about them?
Yeah, there's probably slave trading that we know of. Well, we don't know it, but it's a
don't.
known thing that they're probably going on there.
Slave trading is illegal on Brow.
Doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but we don't have any proof that they are doing it either.
We've heard rumors.
Leva can tell him quite a bit, probably. Because she's had to deal with Illithids. That's how she learned the language, etc. During her whole life.
Just don't mention that you were slave.
Oh, it's up to her.
It is.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess you might know a little bit about what's going on. I don't know if you dealt with any Illithids on Brawl. I don't know if we worked that out one way or the other.
Not on Brawl.
But again, like at the same time, like this is what you want, what you choose to tell him as a group. So you can tell rumors. You can say we've heard they do this, we've heard they do that. We don't know for sure. It's up to you. You can choose not to tell him information, but if he's doing an information exchange, you can think about what you think he might want to hear about. So,
I think what we would say about Brow is that slavery's outlawed on Brow, but then there's rumours that the illicits are involved with stuff, but there's no proof. I'd say that's what we know about the littered embassy on Brow.
All right. Any other information that you want to share about Brawl Space itself and Illithids?
There's underhanded trading that goes on there, but that could be anywhere, no matter what sphere or port you're in. There's always underhanded trading.
We could mention that we've heard the rumors about undead illithid. Not saying that we encountered one.
There was one in... Yeah, we could say it was in Brawl Sphere.
Yeah, that we heard rumors about one. But not necessarily tell that we encountered one ourselves.
Why not? What's the damage? Because what's the damage? We encountered one, so yeah.
You can see how he reacts to the mention of an undead illithid first.
Okay. All right, so you're only mentioning that you've heard about him, is that?
We'll pose it in such a way as like...
I'm sorry, what was that, Leva?
We might have come in contact with one.
Okay.
I mean, they're just saying it this way doesn't mean that we definitely came in contact with one, and it doesn't... it's a bit more than a rumor.
Okay, so he then kind of cocks his head and looks at you, Leva, and says, "You are unsure? Was it magically disguised?"
No. But so it's time for our next question.
Very well. You are asking for outsphere travelers who've passed through here. Well, I do not know if they have passed through here, but I did hear about a pair of humans who may have arrived in a similar situation as you some time ago. And he doesn't like specify the actual amount of time. You would, by the way that he phrases it, you would understand that you're talking less than a month. I mean, less than a year, more than half of a year, so more than 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of vague, but that's the feeling that you're getting in terms of the time frame. And he says, I have no other information about them. I understand that they were on a vessel that was destroyed, and they were the only survivors upon arrival here, in a similar manner to you, I believe.
Does this illicit respond to all of us by transmitting its thoughts into our brains, or does it respond in trade language, so Leva does the translation?
You do not need to translate from what he says, because he does transmit it into all of your heads, but he does not seem to know what the rest of the party is saying to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So then, after giving you that information, he says, "Now, please, tell me more about this possible undead illithid you met. Do you know its name?"
No. Or do we?
Did we find anything of a name on all the books we found?
Well, you have some books that you weren't able to read.
Oh, do we still have them?
Yeah. I haven't given them up.
So Leva
Should
says
we?
we don't have a name, but we do have possible information that we personally were not able to decode, to read. And that might mention the name.
I would not be willing to give up those books.
Who says anything about giving those up?
You might be interested in. We might trade rather than give them up.
That is interesting. This material, books, I assume?
Yes.
You draw with your hand like how the text looks like.
Do we remember that? That's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of
I
us?
mean, you
We can open
Yeah.
up a book and just write on it and try to emulate the written language.
Well, no, you can't because it's textile. I mean, it's
Oh.
tactile. Think of it as illithid braille.
You say you
But,
have to feel the language.
Could Leva describe it well enough in trade language so the illicit understands what she means?
Yeah, he would
Probably a word
like
for
as
it.
you start describing it, he would not rudely, but he would cut you off and nod and say indicate that that's kind of a standard illithid text.
Okay.
And he says, I would be interested in acquiring these books. I would pay. But as a measure of good faith, I have heard of some other travelers. They have not visited this port, but I have heard that there are some short creatures that I believe your people would call them gravs that do visit here occasionally. I do not know what sort of trade they get up to, and I do not know where they come from, just that they come from out of the sphere. You would be aware of gravs. They're miners. They're kind of dwarf-like, but anytime that there's a large population of gravs and a large population of dwarves in the same place, they always contest over territory. They're not like actively hostile towards each other for any other reason. Like they don't hate dwarves, and dwarves don't hate them innately or anything like that. They just contest over territory. They like the exact same types of habitats, kind of thing. Otherwise, they're, so far as anyone knows, they're just miners. They almost never attack anyone first. They're so far as anyone knows, they're perfectly happy to just be left alone to do their own mining. So he's indicated that he's interested in purchasing these books.
Mute, shouldn't I? Leva
Well-
passes that on to the group.
Well, maybe we would be interested in possibly trading them for something useful to us, like a chart of the crystal spheres in the Floodstone in this
I
area.
mean, he was an undead illithid. We know he did spell research. The likelihood is that there are probably books on undead. Do you really want to hold a massive sway of power in this sphere suddenly?
Well, yeah.
And Daikami, if you're speaking, you're not saying anything. It's not. No.
Yeah, I worry about the contents of the book might not be good on the other denizens of this sphere and nearby spheres for the if illithids get their hands on them.
Well, we're not
Throw
going
the balance of power out for sure, but
to find out what's in it unless we ask an illithid to read it. If you don't want to sell it to someone that can read it, then maybe we should destroy it.
Well, why don't you have a spell up that I mentioned this openly. There are spells that I do not have access to that prevent lying. If we get him to read the book and simply state what the book contains, he cannot lie. Then we would know what the books contain. Then we can agree to a trade. If it's suitable.
That's an option.
I do not have access to these spells, so Lafdul's like to you, basically. There's no question.
I think Finn does know which spell you're talking about.
There's a divination one, and there's a warding one, I think.
Yeah, Solas knows detect lie.
So Leva turns around
The
to
sound of
Illicit
truth.
and asks him to stop transmitting everything to the others.
Okay. And he looks at you, and you hear in your head, agreed.
And she says, I have a question. There was a long time ago, the Illicits kidnapped a baby. And I'd be very interested in knowing what you know about that, because it seems to be unusual for the Illicits to kidnap an elven baby of all things. And I wonder whether you know anything about that.
He says to you, it would be unusual for one to kidnap, and since you're sitting here in front of me, allowed to go free. Were you sold off by this illithid?
I'm not saying it was me,
Mm-hmm.
but
Was
yes, that baby was sold off to a human.
Yes.
And that human had quite a few dealings with the Illicits.
I would suspect that there was something else involved. Perhaps this was it was done on a request. Typically, if we were to take someone such as that, not you, of course, we would keep them. Depending on the individual, they may wish to raise them and teach them such that their brains would be tastier.
Uh-huh.
As to the specifics, I do not know. It is not an event that I am familiar with. I can only speak to you in generalities.
Is there any way that you could find out more about this event?
Unlikely. I would need significantly more information than just what you have provided here right now. If you know all the details, the individual's name, the location of the trade, details about where they were from, perhaps, but you do have to understand that we Illithids are fractured into many nations, and I have no sure way of knowing I have any contacts with the ones involved.
The Illicits that kidnapped that baby, they brought her to the Talangran Empire.
That is one that I am not familiar with.
What a pity. But thank you for your information.
And he says to you, just to you, Leva, these books, would you happen to have any information about them? Do you know what they contain?
I don't know, but I could probably get you access to them. If you were to find some information about this baby.
Ah, well, if I could get such information, it would be a long time coming. It is not something that would be accessible in a short amount of time.
Well, as you saw, we talked among the group, and people are not generally against having you. Well, they're generally against having you have the books, but they're not generally against giving you access to the books. Would you be content with being able to read the books?
No, I would not. It would either be a purchase or I would not be interested. Since you do not know what the books are, I could not cite a price without at least determining what the books are either.
So we could. Let me talk to the others for a bit. So Leva turns around to the others and says, he's not interested in just looking at the books or renting or having a look, being able to read them, but and he doesn't know what to offer for the books because he has no idea what the books are. So we'd have to sort of meet up with this guy and allow them to at least look before offering something, which is a risk.
If you wait here, I could grab one book. We won't give it to him, just so he can understand that we have the books.
But if we were planning on casting any of
No, but he would know
those
that the
spells,
books are of
detective
interest
is
to
still
him.
telling us the truth. Yeah, but if you were...
You don't
you
need
said
the spells in this scenario. You would just gauge it on his reaction.
Yeah, but
It's
we
an
would
insight.
we would still lack the information what the books contain, and that was the
We're
idea.
not giving him the book.
Yeah, but that was the idea of having him to...
Leva turns around to him and says, would you be agreeable if one of us went and got one of the books so you can have a look at it and decide?
Yeah, you can flip through a few pages. That won't give him enough to know what the book's all about.
Because, I mean, talk is quick, but this way we can show you that we actually have what we are talking about.
It would give me an idea of what the collection might be worth if the books are all of the same nature, but I would of course have to see them all to verify that they are of the same nature.
How can we trust you?
I give my word.
Would you give your word that you, if we bring all the books, that you only look at them and give them back and then decide whether you want them or not?
Yes, if you are uninterested in selling them, then you are uninterested in selling them. I will save my coin for other ventures.
Eva turns around to the others and translates that. She never says a word about this quick interlude, by the way.
Okay.
Lafdul would be along the lines of, we show them the book, we got the books. Now that you know we have the books, do you want to come and look at our library of these particular books? So you can assess whether or not you want to purchase the books. That was the way I was going to go at it. And while he was on our ship looking at the books, we'd have all these spells.
Or you could take you could take them out on deck and let him look at them in an open area too.
It doesn't have to be secluded like we're going to shank the guy.
Yeah, we can do that.
But I would like to have the spells.
Yeah, it wouldn't be today. It would have to be tomorrow, I guess. To convey something about a meeting, I guess I'll go run and grab a book.
Yeah, you can do that.
I'd rather trade I'd rather trade the books for something useful, like a phlogiston chart. that shows
Well, at
us
the
what it
moment,
is.
we're just trading for. If he's interested in these books, we have like the advantage in like he wants these books now. He's got to offer various things to see what would appeal to us,
Yeah.
and then
Okay,
obviously we
well-
get to choose what we want as payment if
Yeah.
we want to sell them.
Right, because he was just talking about buying them. I
Yeah,
don't think
because
he wants straight money.
yeah, I asked Deleva, is it only money he's willing to trade in, or is there other things he's willing to trade in? Because we're more interested in information than we are in money per se. Like we want to leave this sphere essentially, and we want to know the best way to do it. Do you have the means of acquiring that information?
Leva turns around to him and asks him.
He says that, yes, if you are willing to trade me the books in exchange for information, that would be agreeable.
I guess I'll be back in however long it takes me to grab a book.
Yeah, probably about 20-25 minutes at the most. This tavern is close to the docks.
Would Lafdul tell me what's going on when he gets back to the ship?
Yeah, I would have relayed what's going on, obviously.
Okay, I tell him to be careful about dealing with Lithids and tell him that if he needs, when we do the thing on the ship, when we have him check the books on the ship, that I could have my detect evil intent up or analyze balance up.
Sure, but there's this degree of subtlety.
I can be subtle.
Lafdul raises his eyebrows but says nothing as he leaves with a book.
Okay.
He looks at he tries to find something that was probably bundled with the spell research books. But...
Well, they were all on the same shelf.
Oh, right. He grabs one.
And they are all different sizes. There might be a couple that are like Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. Nothing like a 20-volume set or anything like that. So there's a few that have the same, similar sizes and shapes, whereas others are, maybe thicker or squatter, that kind of thing. And they do all have like metal pages.
No, I obviously go back with one such book.
Okay.
I'm not going to keep a mental track of how long your polymorphs last, never. Because 20 minutes back, 20 minutes going forwards, plus time spent at the tavern.
No, 25 minutes.
Back
around.
and forth.
Yeah.
She has another one anyway.
Yeah, but
yeah, but it's not subtle.
Watches my form liquefies.
Is there a
and
toilet
reforms.
around where Leva could go and quickly put the...
Chants very loudly.
Maybe.
What do you mean very loudly? Nobody ever said anything about very loudly.
I'm
You're a loud person.
I'm okay with not worrying too much about it right now, though. So, like, the Illithid, Leva, you have definitely gotten the impression that this Illithid has picked up that you aren't all what you say you are. Like, you suspect that, but he hasn't said anything about it, so... So, Lafdul, you...
I am writing you something in PM.
Okay.
Yeah, we can get that like properly.
Is this coming in? Oh, there it is. Okay.
We've gone to sneaky mode.
How long? Oh, it's one turn for tongues, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Essentially, I'm going for... I'll say it, but the other character players won't know. But I'm casting Tongues for the Illithid Trade Tongue, and I'm casting Mind Read.
Okay.
Because there was a sudden pause in the projection going to our minds. It's Lafdul's like, Leva's being sneaky, so I am being sneaky now.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I said it out loud and I shouldn't have. But all right, so you do get back. So that will make the trip a little bit longer than 25 minutes, but that's fine.
Because it doesn't last too long, so I've got to cast
Right.
it relatively nearby.
Right.
But
So
I
you
assume
like
I can...
duck into an alley and cast them.
They're fairly quick spells to cast, anyways.
Well, it's still one per round. So, all right. So you get back to the tavern and hand the book over to the Illithid. It, while still looking at you, it holds the book and its four tentacles begin writhing across the spine and the cover, and then it opens to the first page, and it's running its tentacles along these raised lines and such, and then it projects into all of your heads. Ah, indeed, it is a book on magical research. If the whole collection is of this nature, and how many books did you say it was? And I don't know that I gave you a specific number, so you can just convey that number.
Mm-hmm.
And he will say, it will say, then if they are all like this, and I would need to verify that again, I would be willing to pay 4,500 gold, or an exchange of information that may help you get out of this sphere and somewhere that you would prefer to be.
That sounds like very good information.
You is he a practiced spellcaster himself? Then I assume.
Are you asking that?
I'm asking Leva to translate that. I'm not saying that I got tongues up.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Leo asks him.
I guess I can understand the words he's saying.
It would say, no, I am not. But these books are still of interest.
Mm-hmm.
So given the other books that you found in that collection that you were able to read, it seems pretty likely that this is just more of the same, but in Illithid.
Yeah, in a language that none of us can speak or hope to speak.
Well, read.
It's not, read. We can never learn the Illithid language, could we? Written.
Not unless you permanently polymorph yourself into a form that has 4 tentacles.
Oh, it's going to be read with 4 tentacles at once.
Yeah. Its tentacles are running all along this, and it's like again, it's like Braille, but it requires, rather than a finger, 4 tentacles at the same time.
I'm glad I'm not there. That sounds gross to watch.
Yeah, it's actually kind of fascinating in a very morbid way.
It's like a scratch and sniff book.
No, because there's no smelling involved. Again, it's like Braille. Just
like
for
watching...
tentacles rather than fingers.
It's like watching an octopus try to strangle something.
So, are you interested in the exchange?
Is this an open question? Or?
Yeah, it's an open question to you all. Like, you all would hear that in your heads.
It wouldn't happen today, it would happen tomorrow, but you have to understand we would put some precautions up. We would... What do we want? I asked the rest of the party, I guess. I guess we want to know...
We want to find the way to
a safe...
We want a safe route to Brow Space, or Grey Space, or Kryn Space,
or at least
Realm
out of
Space.
here.
One of the
Is there...
It would you translate that, Leva?
Mm-hmm.
It projects into your heads. would you accept information that leads you to that information?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think at this point, yes. Also, we might want to know more about those two that came before us that arrived
Might throw that in.
similarly that we did.
I can throw that in as well.
Well, I mean,
Do we get-
if he's providing information that leads to that information rather than the information itself,
Means he
and we're
doesn't know.
no, it doesn't mean he doesn't know, but we're providing these books which are about spell research, so we have a complete thing here, and the illicit is trading an incomplete thing where we have to do some work. So it's a slight imbalance.
We're also getting extra information about the other people who ended up here as well.
We just need
We
to
could probably-
we also need to think about other things we might want to have information on before we trade this.
How much did he say in monetary
I
value?
understood Ockar
4,500
wasn't finished
gold
yet.
pieces.
So I understood Ockar wasn't finished yet.
Ockar, do you have some more to say?
I just imagine that we could probably come up with like a list of things we want to know and have that be like the price for this thing. Other than just getting out of here, we could we want to know the information about the other two people. Maybe also the information about where we did he say that he knew where we could find those like dwarf-like things as well.
No, he didn't say that he knew. He didn't say anything more. He just knows that they come here.
I guess we could just think about other things we want information about and add that onto the price as well.
So also just to add in, you've also gotten the impression that he doesn't necessarily know the answers to the questions that you're going to pose, which is one reason why he presented that question. He's going to need to go and do a little bit of research himself. So that's one reason why he is perfectly fine for a trade tomorrow kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Leva also asks, well, actually, first, is there any indication that Lafdul is listening in, understanding what's going on?
Lafdul is extremely subtle. He does this all the time.
Well, I'm asking. I'm not asking Lafdul himself.
No, I don't think there would be any obvious indication.
Knowing that Leva's a smart person, he would be very guarded.
So Leva would ask the illicit with it. Even if it doesn't have the information itself, could it provide a starting point for the information?
It says, I will see what I can find in the time between now and the trade, but I give no guarantees.
Okay. So Lafdul now knows something else.
I'm not sure Lafdul knows much based on that alone, though. I mean, because he's only heard like half of the conversation by that statement.
Well, you know that Leva is doing some
Yeah, she's doing something
trade on her own.
underhanded.
Well, you know that she's doing trade of her own and isn't telling us about the trade.
Well, it's not really the first time.
Yeah, I mean,
No, it's not. She does, however, tell the illicit that if it needs more information from her, she'd be happy to meet with it and exchange more information. Well, happy is...
It says to you, if you have more information right now, that would be appreciative. I will need to do some investigation.
It could be that there are too many people understanding us here.
Then I will use what information you've already given me.
Okay.
So, if you guys have any questions that you want to pose to the Illithid now, it will have time to do a little bit of research. If you wait until the trade, then it's just going by what it knows at that point. So if you have more questions now, you've asked about the Gravs, you've asked about the other two humans. I'm fine with that.
If we mention all the spheres we know of, does he know of any way to connect to any of those known spheres?
Well, that's the thing, is like it will look into that, but I mean that's a lot of spheres, and they may not all know.
No, but if ones that he's just completely not heard of, then he might just base it on the ones that he may vaguely know of.
We heard about the Kobold officer tell us about the Phlogiston rivers changed at some point here potentially. Does he know anything about that?
Okay, you can answer that.
Braxon will ask if he knows where we can get hold of a map of the Phlogiston rivers and spheres in this area.
A way of navigating in this local area.
Okay.
Also, if he knows what those stupid singing spheres might be.
In response to that, he will say, you get like a sense of amusement washes over you and says, yes. The Gonlingdar, Gon, I believe they are typically referred to. I can understand why the Kobolds would call them that.
Gonlingdar. Is that something Braxton's heard of?
Nope. Because you utterly failed your intelligence check.
Is it anything that any one of us has heard of?
I don't think so. Not at this point. I mean, I'll put it this way. If anyone rolls a 1 or a 2 on an intelligence check, other than Lafdul, because Lafdul's a groundling. Lafdul's a groundling. Lafdul's a groundling.
I'm not disputing that.
Okay.
Go for it, everyone.
Technically, Solas is also groundling.
You're from a more Spelljammer aware setting.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ockar's not here. Ockar's
I'm not
here.
there, so I can't do the roll.
Yeah.
Right, sorry.
But you can ask him later.
Yeah. Ockar's a brains.
No, I was thinking, because I had mind read up, I was wondering why I was amused by that.
It needs to roll a... Does it need to roll a saving throw to see if it's...
Yeah.
I mean, it's amused by... Like, I think you'd realize that it's amused by that phrasing for these things.
Yeah.
The Illithid will say, they are quite intelligent creatures. No brains, unfortunately, but they are quite knowledgeable. They are quite knowledgeable, but it can take a very long time to get information out of them.
Where one would encounter them?
Oh, they float freely here and there. I can try and find a current location if you wish.
It's no saving throw, but if it's used as part of an interrogation where the creature realizes that you're using some kind of mental mind read, then they would suddenly guard their thoughts. But it's only when they realize you're doing it.
Okay. I might need to check to see if psionists get any bonus against ESP, because it's essentially ESP, right?
It's a more sensitive version of it.
Yeah.
Detecting surface faults of any creatures in range.
I mean, it like you would definitely pick up that it's amused because of how the kobold phrased it and that you guys phrased it the same way.
I've also got a 20% chance of revealing its character class.
Also, if he would have any other knowledge about those more learned creatures of this sphere, like those dragons, or that was it giant snail that was told
Slug.
of us that was sentient and wise.
Okay.
I swear I've heard of a sonic slug.
I mean, you've
I don't know if
encountered a fowl before, a fowl.
Oh.
Yeah, we all met the foul. Told us to come back in 5 years.
Was it 7 years? 7 books or 7 years or something? It's been like 2 years. You gotta get those books at some point.
Oh yeah, so psionicists always get a saving throw against ESV, and I'm gonna extend that to a memory read. So yeah, you're not picking up anything from it. But it was pretty obvious why you got amusement.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so he agrees to come to your ship. What time do you want it? Morning-ish? Like mid-morning?
Say noon.
Noon? Okay. Any objections?
No.
Okay.
Gives the casters more than enough time
No.
to change their spells if they need longer.
No objections.
Don't forget she used
Yes.
level
Yeah,
4
Sunny.
spell.
And potentially if you're casting my identification.
She's not casting identification tonight.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow morning.
The Bobcat, the superior one?
Oh, the superior one, maybe, yeah. I don't think that doesn't knock you out for 8 hours, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Takes an hour to cast, though.
Okay. All right. So, Thrasar's seems pretty satisfied. Like you guys were talking with this Illithid for quite a while, so he's kind of wondering if you guys have what you want out of the tavern at this point.
Well, it's like...
I think from this tavern.
Yeah.
The other tavern had the old kobold that might know of the elders that have more information about the sphere.
Yeah, but you just made a deal to trade for information with with an Illithid who also is probably going to know a lot. So you can probably just get a lot of that information from it. And at this point, it's probably getting a little late now anyway. So you could decide to go back to that tavern tomorrow if there's still more information that you want to get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do.
All right. So you return to your ship. It'll be a gold piece for Thrasar for his services today.
Mm-hmm.
Since I paid the day before, I will pay this day also.
Okay.
Thank you. Is it worth us going to the harbour master and asking about what ships have come in?
I mean, they're not gonna necessarily share that information. I mean, if you want a specific information, like you're looking for a ship that goes to a certain place because you've got cargo that you want to sell off, they can help you with that. But they're not just gonna say, "Oh yeah, these ships came in," because number one, you can watch the docks yourself if you wanted.
We could do, yeah.
Shall we do the identification? It doesn't take an hour. It takes 5 rounds to cast, but it does take 1d4 rounds if there's a second property, and we'll need a further 1d3 rounds to identify the nature of this enchantment.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's not going to interfere with what you want to do tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that's just something I asked her if she could do for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to pay her the power for it.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I want to know what my dagger does.
Okay.
Oh, that's what I was remembering. The spell can be cast more than once every 2 hours. That's why I was thinking of an hour for some reason.
Oh, the cooldown thing. Yes.
Yeah. I knew it was something about it. I don't know what it was. That was all. Yeah, I will give her a Pearl 250 give for it.
Okay. All right, and this is the dagger that you got from Njord?
Yeah, Blade Bane.
Okay, that is...
Would I get a handout, or do I start writing this information out?
I will give you a handout in between sessions.
All right, cool.
So you will get a handout. And I think you heard about, like, I think Alia knew something about it. Does that sound familiar?
Something about Gond.
Okay, yeah. So I'll include that in there too. All right. So in battle and when wearing armor no better than leather, this dagger can grant the wielder any portion of its attack bonus as a defensive bonus. When doing so, the weapon functions with weaker magic. If the wielder uses its whole bonus towards his AC, the weapon is functionally non-magical. Further, if the wielder opts to make a hard parry with this weapon in a round, the bonus is doubled for the purposes of determining success, and the wielder can opt to try to break his opponent's weapon, forcing it to make a saving throw versus crushing blow, with the dagger's current bonus as a penalty to the saving throw. It can only break a weapon in this way once per day, and if it does, it functions as no more than a +1 weapon for the remainder of the day. It is a parrying dagger of defending +3.
Ooh, nice.
Nice one. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
No,
I appreciate that. Though the part about using leather armor is a bit sad. I do have magical leather armor, but...
Alright, so specifically that's only for the defender part. You can still use, I mean, it's still going to be a +3 dagger normally, and you can still use it to parry. Like all that parrying stuff doesn't matter what armor you're wearing. It's only if you're leather armor or worse can you take its defensive bonus.
That's why he was wearing leather armor, Redneld.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but it also means if you need to wear leather armor, that dagger.
Oh yeah,
Or
or dagger will make up the AC.
Or if you have to go into a situation where you can't wear armor at all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, never thought of that.
after Leva identifies the dagger, she goes and knocks on Finn's door.
Yes. Come in.
Finn, you said you could find out how old exactly I am.
I do know a way to do that, yes. It'll have to wait until tomorrow, though.
Ah, okay. Could we do this tomorrow?
We could.
Nice.
I don't see why not.
That would be wonderful. Would you do it? Thank you. Yes.
Certainly.
Okay. Thank you. Very happy Leva leaves the room.
So had you already determined your age? Like, I mean,
well,
on your character sheet?
it's not. Yes, but it's not exactly known that she really is that age because nobody knows exactly when. The whole thing about her kidnapping, etc.
Right. And does
Not
that?
by few.
Yeah, and I'll need to know your believed real age, as opposed to your age affected by haste. So
Her belief.
True
I
age
have,
versus magical age.
Yeah.
yeah, let
So-
me see. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Lafdul's 132, but its true age is 118.
Yeah, that's exactly what she would be too.
Wow.
Discounting all the hastes that I wrote down.
You're 118.
Yeah, she's 126 now,
Mm.
and she didn't always include herself in the. She aged 1 year normally, but she
Jeez.
has 2
You aged
fours.
twice.
you should have aged more than twice normally.
Really?
Yeah, we're on year 5.
Ooh. I can't remember our characters aging up that. I'm going to have to look in the first episode or something to know how old I was back then. Because I don't think I've aged up 5 times.
I have definitely told you guys when a year has passed.
Yeah, and I
you need to apply your
updated it.
age.
I have
Yeah,
one from
we-
2020 in December.
So to be clear, I'm sorry, I misspoke slightly. Next time it ticks, it's going to be year 5. So it's been 4 years and change.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because Ockar started at age 20 and he's 24.
I think we've.
Yeah, you've been hasted a few times too. So no, it's not.
No.
your
He's got it right.
Real age.
His real age is 24.
Yeah.
I think we've been. I think we've aged 2 years since Solas joined in.
Yeah, I think 4 years does sound about right. I think I might be like 114.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've got Braxon's real age as 23 and his physical age is 35.
I mean, I'm not too concerned if you've missed
You've drank a potion.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Your age should be less.
I
Unless you
drank a
got level
potion
1.
too. It dropped down the years by like 3.
What
Yeah.
did you reduce by? Braxon.
Braxon
You
also
rolled the
got a...
exact same number as me.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it didn't do much.
I mean, that's a fair bit for a human.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It's good. It's good. But
It would be amazing for a half orc because
No.
they age really quickly.
Oh yeah. But this is why this is why Braxon doesn't like being hasted.
player to player.
Yeah,
James, what age was your mage?
he was a half elf, so I think he was like 18,
Zamfir was older than that, wasn't he?
maybe. Half elves age at the same rate as humans, right?
I think their starting age it's either the same or like 2 years higher.
Then he might have been in his mid-20s or early to mid-20s.
Solas was 27 when he joined.
I
Yeah.
have 18 as the age of Xanfir on his character
Oh,
sheet.
then Xanfir was 18. I was right.
Because we once talked about it, and in not 1-to-1, but in sort of age, we were both the same age, just past teenage years.
Yeah, Xanfir was just barely over being a teenager. He was technically he was basically an adult.
Yeah, I mean, elves take a long time to mature, and Lafdul's been a teenager for like 20, 30, 40 years.
I think Leva was 118 or even a bit younger when she joined.
I was the oldest member, I know that. I
Yeah,
was older than you.
Ockar joined the party at like 20 or 19 or something. I think it's 20.
Anyway, with
Yeah.
the 4 years in addition to the rest, so now she's at 130, which is minus 8 hasted years, which would be 122.
It's got to be a faster, more efficient way than just the elixirs of use to get back years.
I mean, Wishpel.
Longevity potions, but there's a chance of backfiring the more you drink.
True.
Old.
But that's an assumed age. That may not be her real age.
Yes, Solas.
Is there enough time this day to try and learn a spell?
Yes, there is.
Okay. I'm trying to learn slow then.
All right.
And Lafdul, don't say a thing.
Solas? You can't get the ingredients now.
42, that's a success.
Well, I mean, he can still have it in his spellbook for when he does get the ingredients.
That's true.
So, all right.
So we ran out of molasses.
You can have some of mine. I still have some left, but
You don't even
there's
need
not that
spell.
much left.
You don't even need spell components, Lever. You can cheat the system. You're just terrified of cheating the system.
No, I'm terrified of the backfiring.
That's what he means. You're terrified of the potential
Put
side.
Chaos Shield up, so you
There's
got
a
a chance
price
of
to pay,
No.
and you...
The
Put Chaos.
No, you're
It'll
thinking of the
help.
Baldur's Gate one.
You've
I
got
think.
regular.
So it was D6 plus the level -1, or...
Correct.
Where is it? What's it sphere?
All right, 6
No,
pages.
there's a regular Chaos Shield, a level 2 spell.
Yeah, read what it does, though. I don't think it does what...
It improves your... It means a more favorable results.
Okay. All right.
That's what I was
just
referring to.
I know that. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
that
the
there's
improved one.
Well,
was 4th
no,
level.
but even the Baldur's Gate version works extremely differently than.
Does it?
Yeah.
of
I
which,
can't remember how the Baldur's Gate one works, to be honest.
I mean, it's possible that I'm misremembering which spell, but there is a Wild Mage spell in the Baldur's Gate games that is completely different, like 100% different. But that's neither here nor there. All right. So, anything else that anyone wants to get done for the night before going to
Finn
sleep?
wants to talk to Lafdul for a minute.
Okay.
Oh no, what did Lafdul do?
Well, remember that tree branch you stepped on?
Oh. I mean,
Just kidding.
I'll plant an acorn if I find one.
So you mentioned a spell that could
Yeah.
keep people telling the truth. I do know of that spell, but I am lacking something I need for it.
Oh, what's that?
I need a Oni gem. Emerald, ruby, or diamond. Would that be something you could come up with?
I could have had material to make such a gem. I could probably do it overnight.
Phony?
Yeah, it's gonna be a glass gem.
Okay. Colored glass is not that easy to make, is it?
No, we could get glass here. I mean,
The easiest would probably be the emerald, because isn't natural glass like green or something?
It's if you use a certain type of sand, I think it turns green. You need a special type of sand to make it not.
I mean,
or
they
something
might
like that. But yes, I would need the material. I don't have the material on hand to make the gem though. I mean, they would sell it in town, but we kind of lost our rastipede.
Is this something that you think you would have thought of, like at the beginning of the day, or is this only something that you came up?
I will say it's not a spell I commonly think of, so
it was thought up in the tavern.
Okay, fair enough. Now he's not coming by until noon. And if you want to say that you asked Thrasar to come earlier than that, you could make a quick foray into the market and buy some phony jewelry.
You can go with that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't have a tongue spell, so it's not like I could buy the glass myself.
Right, but no. Thrasar would come. You know, if you've asked him to come to be your translator, then. I mean, Finn wouldn't need to go along with you, but it could just be Lafdul, Leva, and Thrasar going out to buy some phony jewelry.
Solas has access to the spells. Well, he might.
How long would it take to basically go and buy something like that today, since I do have tongue spell?
I don't think you could do it in 10 minutes. Like you'd probably need to ask around, find a place, and then
Because it's a
go and
priest
purchase
spell.
it, which is why you'd want a translator.
Couldn't he buy it at the temple? Priest spell.
No, because this is one of the type like they don't just sell every spell component. Sometimes you need to just go to regular stuff. Like, because if you just needed a piece of leather armor, let's just say a spell needed leather armor, you would just go to an armorer and buy. I need leather armor. Okay, here you go. There's no reason for a temple to stock that. For spell components, unless it's literally like the only place that it's just a temple that exists there.
Yeah, fairly emerald, ruby, or diamond. I guess you need crystal glass to make that anyway.
I mean, there's multiple types of phony gems. I'm not too concerned. But is that something that Leva, would you be willing to go with Lafdul and Thrasar to just quickly get some of those mid-morning?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the end, she agreed to be the translator, so yes, she will go. Not too early in the morning, though.
No, I mean he's only coming by mid-morning anyway, so.
Okay.
So you'd probably have like hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before the Illithid shows up.
Okay.
Which is plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I will say that Finn, you can decide how much you want to purchase. Same thing with Solas if you have access to the spell, and it's going to be, I'll just say, since they're phony emeralds, rubies, and diamonds, we're probably looking at 10 gold each.
You got the components for Detect Light Solas if you're casting that. You brass dust. That's easy to come by.
Brass dust is easy to come by, yes.
Brass dust is for the opposite of detect, like it's gold dust.
Oh, gold dust.
Which is also easy to come by.
Yeah, I have it already.
Okay.
So mid-morning is when?
10-ish.
Whew. Leva needs 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you wake up at 7, it's plenty of time. All right. Okay, so you have those ingredients, and those who want, you don't need to specify how much you're actually purchasing. Just deduct it and mark down how much you have. I don't care, as long as you're keeping track of that. And then the Illithid will arrive, and he has a bit of a retinue with him. 2 of those. Let me actually double check something here. Give me a second. All right. So the Illithid arrives, and he's got 2 of those Herwadi that were a bit larger than the ones that you're familiar with, as well as 4 well-armed humanoids to act as guards. And some of you recognize these humanoids. You saw them in the Underbrawl. They're blind humanoids.
Oh,
yes,
like
I
Ragged.
remember them.
Yes.
Leva remembers them very well.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's our friends.
Friends?
Wow.
Yeah, Ragged was our friend. I mean, obviously, after we accidentally fireballed him to death, he came back and tried to kill us.
But Zamfire murdered the party.
Yeah, him and his tribe were were being rescued by us.
They speak Rasta, don't they? Rastapede.
They do not.
I remember Leva talking. They speak something Leva spoke.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that these do. But they
okay.
they stay on the docks. The two Herwadi follow the Illithid up, and they're carrying like a
Chest.
well, not a chest,
Something to carry books.
but yes, yeah, they're carrying something for them so that they can carry off the books. And I'm assuming that you got the books set up on like a bit of a table so that he can look over them all.
Yeah, if there's a bit of like preparation, I don't know if it's been declared that before the Illithid would have arrived.
Yeah, let's actually go through that. What
Because you want to cast your Zones of Truth, because you wouldn't be casting it in front of him, or would you?
No, you wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I indicated that we were going to put precautions. He's obviously taking his own precautions.
My plan was to kind of like from behind the mast or something, like use it kind of silently using analyze balance.
Okay.
I mean, he's a psionicist. He'd probably sense you.
True.
He's probably got a limited amount of focus, so.
I mean, you've also got all of your crew members out on the decks as well and stuff like that, so...
Might get jumbled amongst everyone else.
Yeah. And he didn't meet Ockar at the tavern. What is the range on Analyze Balance?
I'll look it up.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I am casting the Zone of Truth.
80
wherever we're doing this.
80 yards?
80 yards? You can stand up on the upper deck and do that.
Yeah, I'll be standing up on the upper deck and watching him as I kind of toss the coin up and down in my hand and watch him.
Okay. Then let me see something. And Finn, you're casting.
I don't need more iron coins for this. I could just use the 4 iron coins I keep on me all the time because they aren't consumed.
Ah,
yeah, that's what I do.
But if you should ever lose them, it's a lot more expensive to commission them to be made than to go to an exchange and buy and exchange for some iron coins from.
I know, but
just so
these aren't consumed, so I'm just gonna use them for this.
Yep, that's fine. All right, let me check something.
Lafdul would be like mentioning to Lava. It's like, you don't know the friend spell, do you, or something? I don't know if it'll be like cast as a first encounter, but no. He could improve your reaction to him.
Let's see.
Actually, no customs might help me. On elephants in general.
Alright, So, Ockar, you have, it's not a very high chance that this actually works. They don't get a saving throw, you just have a percentage chance.
Yeah.
And I think you choose... Wait. Oh, no. 5% chance per level of correctly determining the direction. Got it. Okay, no, I got it. All right, I misread that.
You would just know if he's how many steps away, then if you pass the
Yeah, no, you will know that he is 2 steps away from a condition of balance, and it's only a 5% chance, so you do not know which directions that is. So 2 steps away means lawful good, chaotic good, lawful evil, chaotic evil.
Okay.
So he's one of those 4.
Well, since he's an Illithid, I'm going to...
Probably lawful evil.
I'm going to determine lawful evil.
Okay.
And what's the distance on detect evil intent?
I think that's 60 feet.
You're just going to stare at the elephant and say, why is your friend staring at me?
And I think
can't do that from the upper deck. Yeah,
I think you can.
You lean over the banister just staring at him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean over the banister and watch him with detect evil intent.
Okay. You are not detecting any evil intent from him as he's coming up.
At least not yet, yeah.
I'm just gonna watch him as he does the steal, just
Okay.
to make sure he doesn't try to plan anything.
And
Just-
Finn,
Because if he tries to like attack the party or something, I know before he does it, right?
that
would be evil intent?
Maybe. It
Yeah, maybe.
depends on a lot of circumstances. If he formulates a plan in his head to betray you, then yes. If he's reacting to you, like if one of if one of the characters insults him in such a way,
betray thing.
yeah. But if one of the characters insults him in such a way that he's like, "Oh, that's it. You guys are dead now." No, you won't. You won't get any warning because it's.
But I
he
can at
didn't
least
have-
pick up if he's planning to betray us.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'll be doing.
And Finn, you've got the Zone of Truth put up.
Yes.
Okay.
That's good for 8 rounds and affects a 40-foot square area.
Yeah.
So it's got to happen within 8 minutes. So I guess we were saying we'd probably have the books up ahead of time anyway.
Yes, you would have
Just
put them
like
out.
on a table.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, you would have put them
Correct.
I will cast Detect Live when he starts reading the books and
You'll be
telling us
casting it next to him then.
Well,
Actually-
it doesn't have that. Well, it's
30
range is
yards.
30 yards.
You could tell him that that's what you're
Okay.
casting and see how is, or ask him if it's okay if you casted it, or you
Yeah.
can try to
No,
hide it.
just
It's up to
well,
you.
no, you play it off stoically, like I'm casting the spell to. When we say are these books evil, or in such a way that that you have good cause to cast the spell. Are these books going to? I don't know. If you can figure something, you can.
I mean, there's multiple ways that you can go about casting the spell. You can either try to hide it, you can ask for permission and see what he says, or you can just tell him that you're doing it and see what his reaction is.
I mean, it's on your ship.
We told him that we are taking precautions, so I'm going to be just telling him that this is one of the precautions that we told you about.
Okay, just be upfront about it and just say, when we're looking at the books, we want to know what the books are. So you know what the books are, we don't. So we want you to verify that the books are what they say they are via the use of the spell.
Also, one of the first actions Leva would have done this morning would be jump out of bed and run across to Finn's to see whether he can determine her age.
Yeah, because you do need that. You do want to know that beforehand.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Is there a saving
And
throw with that, Finn?
I gotta go look it up real quick.
All right.
While you do that, she would also cast strength on Braxon.
No saving throw.
Okay.
Thank you. Have I got to roll something? Or are you rolling?
You roll 1d8.
I mean,
That's how much strength you gain.
I will cast Idea as well before this thing starts happening, I haven't cast Idea in a while.
So you're at 1850, Braxon.
1850.
All right.
Strong today.
So Finn, well, first Leva, what did we determine your true age is?
What was it? 122 now.
122?
Yeah, actually, it's 123 because it's 5 years, not.
No,
not
it's
4.
not 5 years yet. I misspoke. So it's 122.
Oh.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's 122.
All right. So Finn, you cast a spell and you determine her true age is 112, 10 years younger than she thought she was.
So she's still a teenager.
No, you're out of that. That's at 100 is when that's the cutoff essentially.
Okay, so I'll definitely tell her that.
She's 10 years
Wow.
younger.
10 years younger.
But what that
So,
probably means is that you were younger than Thoriax was told, or something like that.
Yeah, because it takes ages for elves to mature, so it's hard to tell their age.
Yep.
well, I mean, in the end, she doesn't really even know how long she's been with Thoriax because it's been all her life. So if all her life was 10 years less than what she thought.
I
Well,
thought Lafdul was.
Essentially what it means is that the time before you... There was less time before you were sold to him than you thought.
Yes.
Like, elves are infants for a fairly long time. You know, and they're not really forming, memories and stuff like that. So... All right, so that gives you your exact current age, and that will help you.
No, exactly when things happened.
Okay, so the Zone of Truth is up.
I'm casting idea, just in case something's been forgotten. I overlooked the question to ask.
Let's see.
Maybe a hint. It's probably too late now if it's a question that he doesn't know because I never asked at the time, but hell.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of anything offhand.
No.
So I don't. I think that if anything, it reminds you of something that mundane that you forgot to do.
Oh.
Like,
I knew I forgot to water my plant.
Yeah, something like that.
That smells of bread.
You'll have to get to afterwards. All right, so you've got the Zone of Truth up as he arrives, and he looks over the stacks of books, and
more than he thought. He's impressed. The initial reaction.
You would have told him the number, even though I didn't give you an exact number because it doesn't matter. I didn't detail each and every one of them because you were never going to be able to read them.
No, not easily.
So he looks over them and nods and says, yes, indeed, the numbers match. Do you mind if I look at the titles? Read the titles?
Yeah, I don't have a problem, but...
Go ahead.
At this point, I would cast a Detect Lie.
You gonna...
And I was, as I told earlier, I was going to be outright say it, that this was one of the precautions.
All right, Leva, you're informing him of that?
Yes.
All right. He waves with his three-fingered hand kind of dismissively and doesn't actually respond.
Mm-hmm.
And you see his... he's like rapidly running his face tentacles across the spines of these books, like essentially bending down close to them to do so.
He's like, oh, this is a bargain here.
Short-sighted.
And after a couple minutes, he finishes and stands up and says, indeed, it is as I thought. They are all much the same sort of material. The price I quoted stands, or the information that you wanted, if that is what you wish instead.
Have we decided that we want to have the information instead?
I mean, the information gets us out of here. At the end of the day, we can get money anywhere.
Yeah. So Leva turns around. She says, "Yes, information."
It nods to you and says, the best I was able to discover. The only sure routes I know back to spheres you may know are through our territory or Illithid territory, and you sense amusement at this at this next bit. I assume you don't want to travel through there. Your best bet is to find a sage. I do not personally know where any of them are. There is a dragon that you could consult with who may know. He is quite old. I believe he is well over 1,000 years old, from what our people have been able to determine. You could consult with him, and he is going to give you the name. He does not. He knows its generally where it lives, but he doesn't know. It doesn't. The Silithid does not know the specific lair location. So it's the kind of thing that if you wanted to go this route, you'd have to search for it. And it says...
I think dragons usually keep their lairs pretty secret.
Well, yes. But there might be other ways that you could encounter it or try to meet with it rather than just go to its lair. Regardless, it says, its name is Nomaroth. It is quite intelligent, quite knowledgeable, but it is not the friendliest of creature. Not outwardly hostile, from what I've heard, but you would run a risk when dealing with it. The Gone, as I mentioned, they flit from here to there, traveling in and out of the sphere. I do not know a good way to encounter them. And there is a fall, a slug, I believe the kobold referred to it. I only know its name. And it says that its name is Huthzal Thu. I don't know exactly where it lives, but it lives near a lit cavern. My people do not get over there. I suspect that if anyone does know where it lives, the Pecks might know. You've heard about the Pecks. They're another dwarf-like race that are miners. You've heard about them since you came here. You haven't heard about them before. And it says that your best bet would be consult with them. It does go on to say there are definitely others that are aware of it, but this information tends to be quite secret and quite well guarded. Knowing where a sage is that you can consult with is a valuable commodity. You can understand. The dragon that I mentioned, it, as I understand it, lives near the troglodytes. You've heard that they tend to be raiders, so you'd have to risk dealing with raids if you wanted to go try and find this dragon. Those would be the best bet. As to a phlogiston map you asked about, the only ones that I know of cover the nearby lithid spheres and goblinoid spheres, and I could arrange to get you one of those, but I don't know that that would be any help for you. You had also asked about the history of the kobolds here and the other goblinoids.
Yeah. Does this sphere count as a goblinoid sphere?
Yeah, it does. Or mixed.
Maybe that would be of some use to us. At least the goblinoid ones.
It says, my people were here when they arrived. initially we didn't pay much attention to them. We had our own dealings. I'm sure you've heard about the constant warfare between the two nations here. But what we do know is that they were fleeing from some war or another with elves and settled down here. We were unfamiliar with the sphere they came from, and I do not know what the name of it was, but the route that led there has certainly shifted since then. And you'd asked about the pair of humans. I was able to look up some more information about them. One of my compatriots did exchange some information when they first arrived. They are, like you, also lost. I believe they arrived in much the same way through a cosmic storm. I need to check their names. Give me a second. It appeared to be they were the only survivors of a shipwreck upon arrival. They luckily ended up close to a village that they were able to get passage through to here. I do not know if they were anywhere else before that, but that is what I do know. It was a wealthy individual and his manservant, as I understand it, and all I really know about him is his name, Salric von Tromberg. He may still be in the sphere, but he is not currently at this port. But he may be interested in traveling with you on getting out of here, or he may have come across information and need a ship that can take you out, that can take him out. But that is for you to determine.
Does he know where they left this port?
They left this port months ago. He doesn't know where they are right now.
Okay.
So, Salek von Tromberg, did you say?
Salric.
Salurk.
Salric.
Salric. Thanks.
So, that's at least someone who, he may have a way out and just not have been able to find a ship that can take him out. That's what you're picking up from him, from the Illithid?
Yeah, maybe if we can find him, if he wants to leave, if he's found a route out, he might team up with us.
The Illithid definitely indicates that at least at the time that he was in this port, he was, like you, looking for a way out, looking for a way back to his home sphere. The Illithid does not know where that home sphere was. That's not something that they paid any attention to or remembered, because it wasn't one that they knew about. Is what you'll pick up if you kind of ask for some more information. Do you want more information about any of these things that he has mentioned to you?
Is there a particular tribute or offering we need to offer the was it the Falk, the slug person, or the dragon?
It doesn't have any information about that.
Yeah. Some of them like offerings.
So Leva asks about her own thing.
Okay. And it turns to you and it's sending you these thoughts just to you, Leva.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, I was able to do some investigation. All I was able to determine is that Illithids have had trade dealings with the Talongran Empire. They are apparently a group very interested in purchasing elven slaves.
Oh.
So they have been a profitable venture for some Illithid traders. but I do not know exactly where they exist.
Okay. Thank you for the information.
Anyone else have any information about any other questions or anything that you want to like try to expand upon what you've learned?
Does he know any elders, kobold elders in this port that have more information about this sphere?
Not specifically, but if there's information about this sphere you wish to learn, I may be able to help you. I'm happy to throw in some current events information.
Is there, if we were to encounter more of your kind, which faction do you represent if we were to, or are you an independent party?
I do not represent either, but I am a citizen of the American theocracy. The Oluthan Imperium wishes to conquer this whole sphere. They feel that that is their right, and we are not that sort. We are interested in trade and information.
Just wondering if we encountered more of your kind, if we could, we should say, if we were to meet them, if we were to quote you as a friend of good, we've traded, we keep to our word.
Oh, I doubt many would know me, but if you wish to, you can offer my name. I am Ilceris.
Ilceris. Thank you. I assume you're happy with the books. I mean, you've helped us.
Oh, indeed. I am happy to have these. They are all of a magical nature, just general research tomes, that sort of thing.
Lafdul does indicate, I suppose, he's saying this out. It's up to Leva whether or not she wants to say this, because Lafdul's not indicating anything. Whether... we'll say that we did encounter an undead elephant, hence we got these books. I mean, are they like an outcast? Do you know anything about them? I mean, we know nothing of them.
You definitely get an emotion from it as
I mean, undead are looked frowned upon anywhere. I mean,
derision, a sense of derision, a sense of disgust, and says, yes, it was an abomination if you destroyed it, as I assume you did, having these tomes.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good thing.
If
they are much.
Sorry.
Before you can start asking him, it continues. They are much like the Oluthan Imperium, vile creatures. If you should encounter any members of any citizens of the Oluthan, they're unlikely to treat you well, especially if you offer my name and they recognize it. If you shall destroy them, well, you'll be doing everyone here a service.
We're always in the neighborhood for collecting favors and returning favors, if you know.
He offered some information of the local events of the sphere.
Mm-hmm. Do you have questions?
Well,
imagine being an alien and landing on Earth and saying, "Hey, tell me the current events." Like the.
What are there any major conflicts aside the Illithids conflict with each other?
Well, the troglodytes have a tendency to subsist on raiding, so you'd be best careful if you travel through their territory. And the giants, the ugly giants, they seem to have intentions much like the Oluthan. Conquest. You'd best be careful near them. Many of the other races either trade or wish to be left alone.
Since nobody.
Okay.
Sorry,
Well, all right. Go on.
long silence. Since there was an interest in the chart, Leo turns around and asks where they can get us the chart.
Yeah. What Braxon was going to say about the chart is, if you can help us get the chart, would you be willing to help us translate the markings on the chart into our own languages?
That is not something that I do not know your languages. You have a companion here who speaks our trade tongue.
Well, by that, what I mean is, I would expect that any chart we obtain here will be written in a language we don't understand. Would you be able to read the markings on the chart to us so that we can make our own markings?
That would depend on the chart itself. I do not know every language that is in this sphere.
As long as it's not Illithid, written in Illithid, I think read languages might translate it.
Okay.
However, any
Well-
charts that I am able to find for you would be an additional fee. I have given you considerable information in exchange for these tomes.
Yes, very well.
Yes, we are always open for more trading. It's been profitable for both sides, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other thing I would ask is, of the groups in the sphere, which groups are likely to have places where there's useful information about areas outside the sphere?
Well, again, any of the trading ports that make trade with other spheres, Lyrindol, the capital of the American theocracy, would have considerable access to trade and information from other Lithid spheres. Port Korthok here with the Kobolds and the similar ports with the goblins and hobgoblins, they would have trade information with the spheres that they trade to, mostly the goblinoid spheres. I believe the Darrow trade with one of their own as well. I do not know whether the giants or the troglodytes trade outside of this sphere, however.
Thank you. So Lyrindor is capital of the Illithid here.
Of the American theocracy, remember there's two Illithid nations here.
Yeah.
That are in war with each other.
Yeah.
About current events, has there been any how should I say, there wasn't any war, but has there been any calamity that has any port has encountered or something like that?
Not that I'm aware of. There are dangerous creatures that roam the tunnels at times. Giant worms, giant turtles, giant reptiles, that sort. But nothing out of the ordinary.
Good. We wouldn't want to venture into a port that is having some kind of disease outbreak or something like that without knowing it beforehand.
Wasn't there something with leprosy?
One trader was had leprosy, but it isn't that infectious disease.
Would you be mentioning to the Illithid about that leper?
I would
Yeah,
have.
I think since she was mentioned about as being a trader with good goods.
It would say, yes, I have heard of her. I have not dealt with her. Margoth, I believe her name is. To my knowledge, she does have some trade out sphere. She is said to be a good source for surface herbs and that sort. So if you wish to find out what her sources are, that may be some place to go.
Mm-hmm. And it would most likely be a place to go to refresh some of our spell components that we could not refresh from here.
Hmm.
You did hear about an apothecary with a similar selection in the Hobgoblin port, but people have spoken more about the leper in the Goblin port.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we need to go visit the leper, I think.
All right. Any other information that you want to request, or are you good letting him take those books off your hands?
Did we get the location of the hostile illicit faction?
You've learned that so there's essentially a dead end tunnel that both Illithids live down.
Right.
And the Illithids that this one is from is essentially at the mouth of that tunnel, and the others are farther in. So they're
right.
essentially acting as a buffer to the rest of the sphere right now. And it's one reason why, like, you've picked up, through conversations with Thrassar and others, one of the reasons why a lot of groups are friendly with them, they're helping them out. These guys hire a lot of mercenaries, both from the Goblinoids and others. You'd learn that the Grimlocks are actually one of the big mercenary groups here. Hire out lots and lots of mercenaries. They're friendly because they're basically helping to prop up the defense against the ones that they consider more dangerous.
Yeah. Right. Well, let's hope the way out is not down that tunnel.
Well, that's a dead-end tunnel, so far as anyone knows.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I doubt it, but yeah.
Well, we never know until we find out.
All right.
Trying to think if there was anything else we wanted.
Did we get rid of those series homes?
Yes.
Ages ago.
Yes.
All right. Let's say we just pawned them off on him.
No, people wanted them destroyed.
Yeah, that was back when we were in a sphere where they were. These seemed like the friendly Illithids, at least, as far as friendly goes.
Well, Ockar's up on the upper deck, and he can't tell you this now, but he can tell you afterwards that essentially the guy's either very, very good or very, very evil. So he's definitely not a neutral person, but you won't know that until afterwards.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Being evil doesn't make him a liar. Sorry, Solas.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. There hasn't been any triggering of detect lie. There hasn't been any indication that he's been forced to tell the truth from Zone of Truth. So.
Okay.
And I haven't noticed anything either.
Nope. He has not. You have not detected any evil intent from him.
Okay.
All right. So he directs the two Herwadi to pack up these books, and it then
yeah.
yeah.
Solas would have wanted
Sorry.
to ask what was the topic of this spell research on these books.
It's all varying. There's some on necromancy. There's some on conjuration, summoning. Like it goes on and on. It's a wide variety.
He would recognize the schools of magic and all that. Then. Or...
Well, I mean, he'd describe it in such a way that you'd realize that this is, it would constitute a
magic.
good, solid chunk of a research library for almost any wizard, if they could read them. Like, it covers just a wide variety of topics. Some of them are fairly mundane, like there's alchemical texts, there's herbology texts, myconology texts, stuff like that. But stuff that would be of interest to a wizard researching new spells and magic items and stuff like that.
Well, you never know. That Illithid might have thought about how to extend my life forever. Here's this mundane recipe for a potion of youth. Oh, I don't need that. I'm undead. It's like we lose the recipe because we never figured it out.
All right, so it packs up the books and it bids you farewell and says, "It was good dealing with you.
Yes.
I think we
Mutual.
both made out quite well, equally well." It gives you a
Braxon.
slight bow as it takes its leave.
Yeah, Braxon's going to bow to him and thank him.
Same, I guess. Weirdly enough.
Okay. So Thrasar, with that, he would then ask you if there's any other purchasing that you want to do, or if you wanted to do anything else. We are near the end of the session, so it might be worth considering. Like, if there isn't anything else that you want to do here, it might be worth thinking about where you want to go next.
I'm going to pick up that ring that allows us to communicate, won't we? Wherever that port is.
That's on the other port.
Yeah, that's where we're heading to.
That was Golgak's Rest.
Isn't that literally where we're going to now?
You guys haven't decided where you're going to next.
There's also Port Morgoth, which is run by hobgoblins.
Yeah.
Is any of the ports closer than the others, or?
You don't really have a good feel for where things are.
I think we need to.
Yeah.
I think we need
to
talk to someone about guides and how long it will take to go to each place, and whether we can get a guide to take us there. And then when we do go there, we need to make our own maps so that we can find our own way back if we need to come back.
You have a map maker. But it would take a lot of his time.
Yeah.
Well,
Solas would.
Real fast. One thing that I've set up on this map that you're on is it does you'll remember where you are on the map kind of thing, so it'll just be grayed out. So you can, once you've been to a place, you can try to find your way back on your own if you choose to.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So.
You already told us all. I just meant that from a role-playing point of view.
Right.
I'm also thinking that if we get out of here, we can sell any maps we've made to groups like the Seekers.
The Elven Imperial Navy. Oh, good. We can destroy them. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, or the Elven Imperial Navy. We could sell it to as many people as we want to. I don't think the Elven Imperial Navy would necessarily want to come. Yeah.
It's kind of like...
Elven Imperial Navy coming to here might start another war.
Yeah, caused by the company The Broken Sword, because they sold charts to the sphere.
Well, not.
Well,
not by us. It since the war would be caused by the Elven Navy since they decided to start the war.
Well, I don't mean that, but if we obtain phlogiston charts of the local spheres and the local rivers, if we pass them to the Elven Imperial Navy and one of the other spheres was hostile, they might be able to travel through without actually coming into certain spheres. Anyway, that's not our problem. I just mean we would try and gather that information.
Mhm. I mean, Solas isn't against creating some kind of a rough map of the caves, since there's really not good way of creating a good map out of these caves without taking a huge amounts of time.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming that if we have to travel around anyway, and we have to make maps for ourselves anyway, we might be able to properly chart the inside of the sphere, or enough.
There's no properly chart the inside of the sphere. Like, there's so many tunnels, and I've only put on a portion of the tunnels on this, the ones that I would expect you to go to.
Right.
And on top of that, distance is very hard. Like, coming over here, it took you a certain amount of time to get here.
Yeah.
But you actually have no idea what that distance was.
Yeah, basically the chart Solas would make would be very, very rough sketches and distances and time it took to travel these distances.
Right, so you're saying it's effectively impossible for us to make a chart the whole sphere unless we spend a long time here.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there's no charts of the sphere right now, despite all of these different cultures living here, indicates that it's a job that's just not feasible to do.
Yeah, basically the charts that you would make in here would be just written versions of the how the guides provide their services.
Yeah.
There's no possibility creating there. It's just
that's cool.
That's cool. Task to try to chart the whole sphere.
That's cool.
Like, if you were to come across the sphere from outside, you'd just, you'd create a portal into it, or find a portal into it. You don't know what it is one way or the other. And then you'd find yourself in a cave tunnel, and you just travel down it until you get to a branch, or you get to something that you recognize as a civilization, and land and be like, yo, where are we? Kind of thing. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
this
is about time.
There was one thing that Solas would be interested in still doing in this port.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It would be talking with the Kobold elders that have more knowledge about the Kobolds and their history and the different ports and things in this sphere.
Okay.
Do you mean in a ship construction place?
No, just generally basically the Kobold elders.
Oh, you mean like you mean like where the guy tried to break in? Those people.
Well, the Elder Council would possibly be one of the places to go and visit, but there's other Elder Kobolds that are not part of the council.
Yeah.
Well, that's something for the party to consider. It's still noonish. I mean, like, maybe half an hour has passed, or with everything that's gotten done, you would have wanted to put that table away, had a bit of conversation after the Illithid left and everything like that.
Yeah.
So for next week, it's something to consider whether you want to, what you still want to do in port, or whether you want to get underway and get out. Because again, remember, you want to get home, and the sooner that happens, the better everything is going to be.
Happier the crew will be.
Yeah, the crew's definitely going to be antsy, especially the dwarves. Like, you're at a port with kobolds and goblins and hobgoblins and ogres, and they're like,
yeah, Lafdul doesn't feel any better.
Yeah, we want to. I think everyone wants to get home as fast as possible.
Apart from Braxon's like, it's fascinating. Yeah, it's like new lumber. No one hates me. Well, there was this one guy spatting me, but
Yeah.
Well, he's bad on Braxon because Braxon basically.
Leva is okay.
No,
He didn't actually spit on Braxon. He just shouted.
Near you.
He spat on the floor in front of all of you.
Yeah.
Like, that was a collective thing. It was just that Braxon then pissed him off afterwards. You know. Picking at a nit with someone who's already in a bad mood, maybe not the wisest decision. Anyway.
Throwing their rage, maybe.
So
You do realise that guy's going to be our guide to the next pool.
Well, so and that's something that you guys should talk about is what sort of guide you're willing to have on board your ship, because they're going to be on board your ship for multiple days at least.
Who will know what our races are.
Yeah, so you might want to consider, who you'd be okay with.
It's gonna have to be someone that's our wards don't attack.
I mean,
Someone that's not evil.
Probably out of all the options, our best bet is a kobold.
No, most. Well, you
We
could
should
probably
have.
find some neutral kobolds easily enough.
We should have had that kobold they were going to kill. He won't go back and tell
Nah,
us.
he's probably evil.
yeah, most likely.
Probably evil, yeah.
He's probably evil, yeah. But they're probably all evil here anyway. But maybe
Not everyone.
They're not all
maybe
going to be
the
evil, but yeah.
maybe the
it's
Haddady,
Herwady.
but Hawaiti, sorry.
The Wiggles.
Sorry,
They're
yeah,
Wiggles.
Hawaiti. The Wiggles, yeah, maybe the Wiggles.
I hate that name. Anyway, that's why I don't use it. So you guys want to consider that for next session. And the XP rewards this session are going to be 2,000 XP each.
Wow.
Lafdul, you are going to get an extra 200 XP for your successful disguise. Because they worked. And Finn for the Zone of Truth. That is going to be 150. And let me see. I think that's about it.
Braxon,
No, nothing for Detect Lie.
No, nothing for Detect Lie because it didn't. He didn't trigger anything.
Anything for Analyze Balance?
Ockar, yes, 50 XP for Analyze Balance.
Do I get anything for spying on Leva and the Illithid?
Yeah, actually, your priest will get an extra 100 XP.
Yay!
Braxon gets minus 10 XP for saying cheerful things in Dwarven to annoyed kobolds.
Minus 1 billion for all the puns.
1 billion for all the puns.
Hang on, so I got 1,200 to my priest and another 100 to my priest. What was it?
2,000 XP, 200 XP on top of that. That's going to be split. That's for your character.
Yeah.
And then extra 150 for your priest.
100, 100 for priest. And 1,100.
I got the 4th level spell and didn't get anything from it.
Yeah. To be fair, the thought did cross my mind to cast Inverted Ethics as he was taking it. He wouldn't have done anything. But it was, I did have it.
Inverted Ethics on him might have been a case where he just mind blasts you and takes all the books.
Yeah, he attacked us for no reason. We got fair game for killing him.
I don't know.
I think we got the 2,000 for finally getting rid of those books.
No,
Solas
the
lose
2,000.
XP.
The 2,000 was for getting a lot of information and making a deal with this guy, and getting information. Wasn't specifically for getting rid of the books.
Leo got more information than the others.
Yeah, Lafdul was spying on that information. He's wondering whether or not he's going to tell the rest of the party about that, though. He might keep it to himself.
You don't really know. Did you have tongues on the next morning?
Yeah, I did it again. Tongues and mind read. I was just picking up trails of a conversation, bits and pieces. Like, there was obviously more going on than what you were stating, so...
Yeah, you missed the first part. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for playing. I want to thank everyone out there for watching. Really do appreciate it. Bunch of gift subs, bunch of bits given out. Really do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And we will be back next week for more Spelljammer.
Thanks for the game.
Thanks for having us.
Really enjoyed the Illithid voice.
This is generic bad guy voice.
We have to come. No, we have to come back 6 episodes later and talk to the same Illithids and see if the guy's got the same voice.
No guy can ever do that. No career.
Thanks for everyone that hung out with us.
I don't think Old could do that unless he I know he could listen to him doing the voice again and just try to replicate it.
I mean, if I remember, like I don't have that many actual voices. It's just like I have a couple different voices that I pitch up and down. I just have to remember what I did. It's a lot easier when I do the old guy voice, you know, like this. That's an easier one to remember. I just remember I did the old guy voice. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for playing. We'll be back next week. See you next time, everyone.
Take care, all.